here all night long because the activity is going to stop all night long. That's kind of how this goes. So when we spread out, we will stay away from the vehicles. Obviously, people don't like their cars being filmed, and because obviously if I was a car thief, the only tool I need from Josh's camera is a crowbar. So don't go near cars, especially with the cameras. People get really weirded out of them.
Okay.
So where the heck are you? You're in a parking lot. Congrats, you made it. So thank you guys for weird spaces. This used to be something relevant to the history of Charleston. So Josh, we're gonna have you take 1 or 2 steps in so you don't get told to go. But this used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion sat in the front of the space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with 5-foot restaurant and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. So, with that said, by the way, all communication devices, it does include all spirit boxes, the Ouija board device, the word list, and regular spirit boxes. This is where I start withholding information on purpose. I will not be giving you questions here like what color was George Washington's white horse. Okay, you will be getting answers from your spirit boxes. So, back to Eliza and Charles. Who the heck were these people? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks, in case you weren't paying attention. That's why we look for those secondary clues. So in the event that Lisa hears the name Charles, I'm hoping to get which Charles based out of another spirit box. You guys are hopefully getting my point. Now, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics more than everybody here combined. We're going to be moving on. If I don't give those gentlemen that recognition of being signers of that piece of paper, then they will do it for me in a very nasty manner on a spirit box. So just make sure I give them their recognition every single night, and we move on to Eliza instead. There's a much better story. Eliza marries Charles at a young age. I say it slowly because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, do not expect numbers from the colonial days that she came from when young ladies got married at the ages of 12 and 14. Think of today's standards because the husband was over double her age when they married. It was creepy then, it's creepy now. I'll just put that out there. Anyway, back to Eliza. She marries him because her father's over in England. He thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all of his kids home so he can see him one last time. Well, Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put right here, got married. It's 1744. You do not get married in that year to get a green card. We're not a country yet. Not a thing. She didn't marry him out of love. This is a true love story. Believe it or not, there's nothing horrific about this location whatsoever. So, moving on. She was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of the gifts that he sent her happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye, makes your blue jeans blue. A lot of you are wearing it tonight because that's how we use it today. When Eliza got her seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to actually learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it cultivated. Not always warm. Then she had to learn how to make the dye. Then she moved into a plantation, cash crop, and got a hold of her dad overseas and told him, rice plantations are going downhill, we're going to make a killing with the indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial days. Something absolutely unheard of. So, that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit. That's why you guys are all here. So what's going to happen is with all the communication devices, I'm going to give you guys a series of questions to focus on. We should also keep in mind that we do have 5 communication devices out here, 2 cameras, and my voice recorder. If Arlee's asking a question, the answer can go to any of those other devices. That's why I always, even if it was just 2 of you showing up, we would still have at least 2 communication devices coming up. It's just weird that I gave you guys 2 communication devices plus a camera. I don't normally do that. This is a new combination for me to actually put both of those pieces of equipment into one person's hands. So I'm just kind of curious to see how it's actually going to work throughout the night. So Arlee and Brandy, you 2 are going to have the same set of questions to focus on. Eliza's death. She's pretty open about talking about it. 4 major things that we get answers to. How old were you when you died? What did you die from? Where are you buried? And which president was a pallbearer at your funeral? So again, very specific questions. By the way, if you do go rogue with your questions and ask your own, just make sure 2 things. They're not yes/no questions, so we can verify it. And 2, they're respectful. This is one of those places where we don't need to provoke and piss off the ghost. Again, we're here out of respect for her. Lisa, with your device, the mansion's not here anymore. You're going to be focused on what happens to it. So obviously, if we get the what, we would normally get the 2 or 3 numbers from the date of when that tragedy occurred. Yes, I just gave you a clue that it was a tragedy. Keep in mind that anybody else can get those answers as well. Your spirit box only gives us like 1 to 2 syllables at a time, so I try to keep it nice and simple type of answers coming out of that thing. You're also going to be looking for the initials ELP. Those are exact initials from Eliza's full name. I'm not going to tell you what the L stands for because Alicia is going to be looking for it out of her word list. So hopefully, because the reason why I do this is because there's 2 wives named Eliza from Charles back to back. The first one died, and then he married the one I just told you about 5 months later. Kind of a jerk move if you really think about it, or really smart, depending on what kind of gentleman you are. Secondly, you're going to be looking for Eliza's maiden name, which begins with an L. Hopefully you're going to get ELP or any other words being spelled out. And I think about everybody. Have you had anything show up since we've been inside this location?
Nothing above that.
Okay, so I am going to keep Lisa behind just to show her a little bit more operation on the Ouija board device, but everybody else, we can spread out. Looks like the cars are leaving, and watch out for the puddles. Who was stepping in the puddle earlier? Yes.
He does.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Can I show you the word list real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
So I got scared.
Trying not to like record cars, and it's kind of hard. Tree. What?
What's happening here, just so you know, is these are the radio hertz. So it's not the radio number station like 101.1. Like these are the hertz of the frequency of that radio. So the radio dictionary, and that's what once you have 4 or 5 terms over one, it should turn on Google very quickly, and it comes up 4 or 5 terms. So that's why they show it really quickly. And if it like hears something that is like, oh, I know what that is, it's gonna start turning red for like 3 to 5 seconds before it gives you the word. Yeah. It's just part of the aesthetic.
So just this.
You got it. And of course the list. Sometimes you have to look at the list as a whole. Like, hey, none of this mean anything until you look at it together, or the fact that you don't know what the word record means, but I gotta tell you about it. You don't have a secondary truth.
Got somebody?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna sit over here. So if it picks up
I'm confused. I'm
Tell me.
Definitely an icon.
That's an iconic thing.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So when you were talking, there's like something right next to you, but I didn't want to interrupt you, and I was just kind of confused because there was someone standing here, but it looked like it was like right in between you. Like if it was right here, like if the man was, I forgot his name, was right here, it would be like right here.
Okay.
So I don't know if that is anything or if it like
Were you
just
recording at that point?
Yes.
So I'm going to point out a couple of things. One extra piece. I know we talked about trees and leaves, and that might be difficult to try
Yeah.
to find a ghost when we have as many leaves around us as we do. But that thing will also pick up on shadow. The reason why is because it's an absence of light, which means it looks like to the camera that there is something in front of the shadow. So the shadow is in front of
It was
whatever
probably a
else is.
shadow
So
then.
it may have been one of our shadows that was over there.
Okay.
So just kind of keep that in mind.
That's good to know.
You got this. It's funny.
It's not focusing. It's not working. Oh yeah, it is. Never mind. I'm like, it wasn't working.
There's no right or wrong way to do this. Some people just focus, other people speak out loud.
There's a puddle. puddle. Yes, sorry, but it's needed. It's glitching. It gave you a big head.
Probably because I have the hood on.
Probably. You should stop. But if you weren't there, that would have been so creepy.
Remember,
You're never fully dressed without a smile. I hate you.
Those don't stand still.
Yeah.
What else did you get on? Okay. Sorry, you're about to say something.
So there's the questions to ask her were her age, the pallbearer,
Where?
Oh, that's a tree.
Where she's buried.
where she's been, that's it.
And how she died. Now, I will tell you, ARLEE asked the question of who was the pallbearer, and she heard iconic figure.
and then I got
It's
above
technically
anything.
correct, it's just not an exact name.
Yeah.
So I'm down for it.
Okay.
I can see where she got that.
Yeah.
But again, ghosts gonna use whatever they can grab.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else weird?
No, not really. Just picking up trees. Ooh.
That's a metal pole, like in front.
It's just not focusing. So,
That could be something going on too.
yeah, that's why I'm like, over here it's not focusing, and like over there in the other corner it's not focusing.
That's pretty cool as far as like the leaves go.
See, but like now it's focusing.
Of course it is. Well, he turned the light on with the motion sensor.
Mm. There's a puddle there. It wasn't focusing.
No, she's just in
Ew.
She said not breathe.
Imagine. Imagine getting assaulted by a ghost.
Just remember, it must not be
What exactly what I'm trying to like put that in my, okay.
not easy to do.
I apologize.
Alicia, there's someone behind.
I
Behind you.
apologize for
Oh.
bringing up the summer thing, and it said that. I don't know if she's saying I'm not brave or.
Deciding not to focus.
So, she's fine. There's, again, this location can be very temperamental. So, if we're not respectful, we don't get answers. So, that's just kind of how this works. We will get nasty, disembodied messages. But Eliza can be, she's a permanent Englishman. So, I mean, old-timey stuff for us. You know, so prim and proper, like walk with your feet pointed forwards and look on your head kind of stuff. Like,
Oh.
That's who we're thinking. That's the kind of woman she is.
Shut up.
She's
Can't help
fine.
my feet.
She's fine. So, I mean, this is actually a pretty respectful group. You guys are all asking great questions to me and to, obviously, the respect. Yes?
Pretty sure I heard somebody say they were skin and bones.
Did you ask anything direct or just
No,
let it ride?
she was asking something. I could hear that.
Okay. Oh. Well, she's asking about her death specifically because she came back and asked me, like, hey, what were those questions again?
Yeah.
So, the skin and bones thing actually made sense.
Yeah, I was
Based on what
walking
happened to
away
her.
from her so I could.
And again, I can't prove it. It's not a direct fact. Like, it's
Yeah.
not a name, it's not a date, things I can, like, concrete say. But it does make sense as a conversational piece based on whatever she's asking.
Yeah.
So, I'm not surprised. Again, we're being respectful. Anything. Go
I
ahead.
don't know if this is a forgiveness. This said no,
Well, I think she's reminding you that this is a true love story.
so. Okay.
That's what she's doing.
Okay. And to leave summer alone. I will completely
Yeah.
drop that.
I'll explain it before we go. No worries.
No, I have trash in my
Cool. Thank you.
Oh, I don't know if that's the light.
All right, let's regroup, everybody. Let's kind of head towards the back like we were restarting.
Near the where they're probably gonna exit. Fun.
Well, this is where I give you guys all the answers.
Fair.
Kind of show you how this all tied together.
This just doesn't like to focus
She
anymore.
heard your welcome on the SP11, so I don't know if it was the apology and then she showed you love and you said kind of thank you for showing me that. And she did get a you're welcome.
Okay.
So again, everything seems very conversational. I got 4 moments. What do you got?
It's a
It
trust.
was a 38.6,
Okay.
a 35.5, a 40.8, and then a 38.2.
38.6, 40.2. What were the other two again?
That was 405. Then it was 38 point. No, you did that one. Then it was 35.5, And then,
So a bunch of like high 30s and 40s.
yeah,
Right?
And then like a 36.7.
Okay, I got it.
I just got
All
jar
right,
and
so
core.
let me kind of explain the EMF real
don't
quick
think
and
it's
kind of show
very
you guys how this all ties together. So the EMF, just so you guys know, so Caleb did get some pretty decent readings out of this location. So I want to say as high as like in the, around a 50.
Yeah.
So if you were to put that device behind your TV set, it's going to read about 40 to 60 milligauss. So the little blinky light device, the one I put away, only goes to 25. So he did get up to a 50. We would have never have gotten the full reading if we were only using the blinky light device, which is why I said I don't use it all the time. If you were to put that thing next to your microwave, heating up your food, it's going to read about 150 to 170. So the highest I've ever seen that device go, ever, in my 14 years of ghost hunting, has been here. So we're going to have you put that on you. Only because my ear is trained to listen to it, and I lose track of where the hell I'm at. Because all I want to do is listen to it. When I say that thing air it out, that thing goes to 200 milligauss. Again, 8 times higher than the blinky light. When I say it air it out, it did it 3 times and then stayed in the high 100s for over 15 minutes. I actually have epilepsy. There's too much electricity in the air for the guy with the neurological disorder. We got the hell out of here, like pretty quickly. So again, things can occur.
We had a 43.
Okay. So we'll kind of stick, like, don't let me know anything at this point below a 50. That way we can kind of go through the answers of this location. I think we have pretty much our base reading. Average, by the way, for this location is between 18 to 22 milligauss, and there's no electricity running through this space. So kind of keep that in mind. That's about 5 out of 7 nights a week that I'm here. We will get a reading within that range. So I have had nights in here where I come in here, there's nothing. Like absolute zero, like maybe a 0.1, 0.2, and that's just natural EMF coming off the earth. So again, I do study this stuff, so you guys getting the point. Let's cover the answers. I'm not like super excited about anything that you guys may have heard or seen, by the way, with your cameras. If you want to hit stop, by all means, let's give your hands. This is where you probably just want that long shot. Okay. Probably good that you're going to be on this side, so we're going to stop right about here.
Can I go ahead and show you before I forget?
Yeah, go for it.
When we were leaving, I heard "Come on"
Okay.
and "Democrat." When we were walking, I heard possibly "They knew."
See, they didn't forget.
Even though they told me they can't remember.
New. What'd you guys get on here? Is anything other than his crazy whistling?
And
I'm gonna write down number 39, just because I'm not sure about it yet.
I heard he didn't get any help.
okay, still goes along with mine. Oh, I got that a
Remember,
while
her
back.
spirit box is slowed down.
I was piecing together a story and it told piecing together what I thought the story was and it told me angry. So
Anything else come out of yours?
I heard like Whitney Houston's "How Will I Know" like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, because it's gonna loop
Oh,
around.
okay.
But is that the
Okay.
phrase you heard? How will I know? Or was
Love
it
Me Not.
office probably not.
Okay. Interesting piece. Any letters come out of that guy? Okay. You're gonna be looking for specific initials in here, and we're gonna have your other spirit box on mute, so I can kind of go through the history. Your initials that you're gonna be searching for in here are RI. So I'll explain that here in just a moment. I'm more interested in the fact of Josh's whistling and the name Isaac, just so you guys know. So again, you
I
guys
heard Ann Paul.
My legs just got really warm.
yeah, I'm gonna put a pin in Paul just for a second, just for something else to pop up, just because we're kind of out of range for that. Again, he normally, that's coming from a shy ghost, if it's who I think it is. Like, he's not one to like say, "Hey Nick, I'm here." Like, he's somebody I got to like draw out.
So
And
he
his name
must-
isn't Paul, but his best friend was. So again, just an interesting piece. Yeah, you guys are a weird group. I'm just gonna put that out there. You're weird for me. But welcome to Philadelphia Alley. This used to be called Dueler's Alley. So we definitely want to just keep an eye on yours, Caleb, from time to time. We don't always see EMF in here, but remember, 8 and above is what we're looking for.
I haven't gotten anything about my block.
Okay. So this is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So every ghost tour comes down here. I was actually looking to take this space out of my route because every tour comes down here, but this guy just won't leave me alone. Everywhere we go from here moving forward, he will pop his head through, just because you have to remember this guy's story is being told like for the past 40 to 50 years. I'm the first one to be able to communicate back with him. So again, he's been very excited for the past 4 years, and I do change this every year. Every year I try to take out one space and add one new one. Last year I tried to take out the Pinckney Mansion site just because I was getting rude ghost hunters on your end, like, "Come on, Eliza," and then they're taking a leak in the corner. kind of BS. So I gave it a couple of weeks break, and I was getting nasty messages on spirit boxes from that location, like, please just leave us alone, going over 13 different radio stations, so we know it wasn't radio chatter. But every night before I meet up with you guys, I walk through that lot, because it's on my way from the office to the corner, and I let her know what all of your names are. That's how I'm able to memorize your names every single night, because I talk to her along the way there, saying we'll come with respect, and we'll hopefully get some respect back from you. So again, it's just my pact with her that I do every single night. So keep that in mind.
It definitely helps respect them while they're there. Like earlier when I asked something I shouldn't have apologized
Well,
for,
she
and
didn't
she
know.
was like,
She didn't know what this something was. She got the word summer, and she said, "What happened in the summer?" Well, I told you about baby George in June of 1747.
Yeah.
So I said, "Leave it alone. Don't go any further with it."
and I didn't.
So, and then that's when we got the "You're welcome" that came out of yours, because she apologized, and then she got the word love, like reminding her that that's a true love story. It's not a tragedy story. So, kind of makes sense when you put it. That's why I said it was all looking pretty conversational. But anyway, this location. Weird. It is weird. Like this is. Yeah. Sorry. It just, when we got here, it reminded myself, like, oh, I forgot to tell them, like, how everything else kind of tied together, even though it was just conversational. No validity of, like, hey, this was concrete because of that.
I heard drain.
I got nothing on a drain. But here's how this story goes. The doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. There's your first RI reference, Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. If the two of you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl over here, it's not coincidence. It's part of his name. We get it all the time. But anyway, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. By the way, you can hit your record button if you want to. But Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents, and she has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow that she just got. So the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. He moves here to Charleston to prove that he's not. And on his way into town, he was set up by the coachman that brought him in to be robbed and killed. So it's kind of like having a really bad Uber driver today, if you really think about it from today's perspective. But somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. Somebody walking by, his name was Ralph Isaacs. So there's your Isaac that we got earlier. So Ralph, which by the way, he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. There's your other RI. I actually bought that device specifically for this location because we were getting the letters RI from other spirit boxes. I wanted validity to getting the point. So with Ralph, he tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy, the coachman. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from these friends of mine. You'll be safe. Doc took him up on the offer, and the two gentlemen became friends.
I've gotten a no twice within like 5 minutes.
So it's looping around. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the no is. But we'll see.
It sounds like the same like song though.
Yeah,
like
I'm sure it
was
is.
far enough away that I was like,
That's the second time around.
Can I
Yeah.
read the list off because I just got like a ton.
Sure,
So
go
there's
for it.
office, Fallon, money, me, praise, finally, anniversary, and promote. This obviously means something. I can tell.
Hang on to that list.
All right.
Wow. Okay. That's gonna be
Is
more
he just
specific
straight up
than what
Is he just straight up telling me the story in
she-
pieces?
Pretty much.
All right.
So back to the two gentlemen becoming friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. Amanda gets wind of this, and she's coming down soon, so that way the two can be married. Now, Dr. Ladd knows that she's coming down, and he's a pretty happy guy. So he becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. He was whistling almost the entire time that we were on our way here. So that's why I asked, does he do that all the time? He's not listening. That's why he's going to get the audio later.
I heard you.
Okay, he heard me. He cranked him up, apparently. So,
I heard you.
so with that said, let's talk about why we're here inside of Dueler's Alley for this whole scenario. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. So on the way home from seeing Richard III, they're arguing over the new actress they just saw. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument...
Can I just say I heard hierarchy in the parking lot. Thought nothing of it because it wasn't
is
with what I
just
was asking.
Probably has nothing to do with the story. Just got torture.
too vague.
I heard ask the spirit.
We're going to here in just a minute.
Is it weird that, like, before he was even over there, that I kept hearing thuds, but nothing's picking up on this?
Well, hopefully we have the audio from it. And I haven't told you what has been found down here yet.
All right. Good to know.
Okay.
Good to
Moving
watch
on.
out for.
We'll quit.
You got something else?
No, I'll say we'll quit interrupting you so you
No,
can
you're
keep
fine.
going.
I just lost where we were at. Oh, so they start arguing over the actress, right? Now, the argument, it turns into Ralph is insulting the doctor's fiance, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and it got really ugly. And they go their separate ways. So, Ralph has friends around town. He goes to his friends at the newspaper and places an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a "you're a disgrace to society" kind of bullshit. Doc saw this ad, but rebutted with, "Let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're gonna settle
I
this."
heard unnecessary drama.
Pretty much.
That remark.
What's that?
Remark.
That's for the next location. You're already getting that preemptive. So, they come down here, back to back, took their 10 paces away from each other. They turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air and shot his one shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just needed the courage to show up, which is often what happened at a duel in the 1700s. But Ralph, he still has his one bullet. Anybody want to take a guess where Ralph put the bullet that he had in his gun?
His head. I was gonna say his own skull.
No, you have the word in your list.
Okay.
Ground.
His knee. It was in his knee.
In his knee. Can't make this shit up, guys, even if I tried. So, at any rate, Doc didn't die, but Ralph proved his point. He's still pissed off. He fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church
I
Street.
just heard I'm not.
He dies 10 days later after, getting home on November 2nd of 1786 after refusing medical treatment. I'm going to point out two things. First off, it's 1786. Gunshot wounds back then, a lot different than what we know of them now. Secondly, he is a doctor.
Didn't you normally amputate when there's gunshot wounds?
Well,
Sorry,
I was putting the cart before the horse on this.
Sorry.
So, he probably just said he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but he failed. So, he obviously died 10 days later. Every ghost tour that comes down here tells you to listen for the whistles. We do have 2 cameras running plus my voice recorder. Normally, if we capture a disembodied whistle, it'll show up on one of these 3 devices. There have also been said to have been heard gunshots while we've been down here. So those thuds, you're not going to sound like a normal gunshot like what you would find in an action movie today. It's going to sound like a big old thud. Did you get something else?
I heard complimentary doctors.
Now, with those whistles, it's not to say that we haven't had a whistling part of a song and then the word doctor immediately afterwards from a commercial. Doctor, it happens dozens of times. Just so you guys know, I don't look for it, it just happens. As far as the Ouija board device, remember we're still looking for RI, so even when we go over to the next location. By the way, it always sounds this quiet over here, unless of course there's other tours or people walking through it. Even on a busy Saturday afternoon in the middle of July, this is what it sounds like. It can be quite eerie, unless of course the air conditioning is running for one of the buildings over there, which by the way, we're going to have a couple walking through here in just a minute. We'll part the seas and let them go through. We'll wait till they get closer. You didn't have to part the seas just yet. But at the same time, if you're
I
going
just heard system of approval.
I'm about to tell you how I got kicked out of here.
Oh!
I'm not kidding.
Before you get to that,
Yes.
you were telling me that I was already like piecing together things,
Yeah.
and it told me special. I don't know if that's about the story or towards me. To
Maybe
be
towards you.
completely honest, I
Still
they
pretty
gave it to
big.
me, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I
That's
would
why
look
I
for
was saying.
if
that's
it
why I
had your
don't know.
name immediately after that, I would be more convinced.
Yeah.
So if it, you know what I'm saying, that's kind of how I look at those things.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't know if it's towards me or the story, kind of vague, but just wanted to point it out.
If you're gonna try to look for these whistles on your own without me, because I can't take you all the way through this
I
alley.
just heard steroids and drugs.
I heard he also fell.
I like that one. I'll be taking that one for sure because he obviously fell to the ground. Like that's a specific thing we can prove because he was shot in the kneecap. I do like the word drugs, obviously.
That
For the story's sake.
Right.
For the story's sake. But again, turn on your voice recorders when you guys walk all the way through here without me and listen for those whistles. Just remember that every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street is going to throw a whistle down the alley. We all do it, me included, ever since I got thrown out of here. Let's get into that because that's the fun part of the story. It also shows you a little bit of the extent of my research of how far I actually take these things and why we go to the next location that we're going to. Now, the way we came in, yes, there was a scream from another store nearby. I know you heard it. So there was a wall that used to be halfway between us and Cumberland Street, which is exactly why I always thought was right here. The wall was put there, and it was before this was Dueler's Alley, before the duels used to occur down here, because this used to be called Cow Alley. This is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. Yes, you had the word cattle earlier. It was way too early. I'm reading her mind at this point. You guys getting this? So I already seen the wheels spinning.
Constantly.
Cows, goats, and chickens were down here. So what does that mean for you guys? That means that the bricks down on the other side are older than the ones you're standing on. Those bricks on the other side are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, fingerprint swipes, and others.
That's small.
I used to take my groups down there for a history lesson. There's nothing paranormal about that handprint. I already told you how I feel about graves. I'm not taking anybody over there for a paranormal investigation because you're not going to find the kid who made that handprint there, right? That's the last place you're going to probably find him. However, November 26th of
I just
2020.
got the song where, that Where Did My Baby Go? You know what I'm talking about?
That's due to something else. So hang on to that one. I want to see if
Okay.
something else pops up.
If you want, Mom, I can write it down for you.
I'll write it down. I'll get it. But I still, just like the Paul piece that she had, I'm going to be writing it down just because I'm not sure in case something else pops up. So, November
And
20th.
I heard baby.
You heard baby? Yeah. I want a specific name.
Oh.
Is what's coming up out of this.
I'm looking for names.
There's a baby story nearby that I don't always
Did
tell.
you get a
unless they
name?
clues
No,
come.
not yet, but I'm just knowing what to look out for.
David?
I'm not going to tell you what that is. It's not the baby's name.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's not.
It's the mother's name. Which, by the way, this would actually come into play with your device too, because if they're getting what they're getting, we will often get the mother's initials, which is SHH. It's cheesy, can't
I just
be,
had
but it's
Jesse's girl.
Let me tell you why I got kicked out of here. Golly. So, November 26th. Keep these dates in mind. 2020. I took my group all the way down there to give them that history lesson, and they all stood around waiting for something to happen out of the devices I gave them from that brick. I'm trying to shoo them along because I know nothing's going to happen, and we're standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful. Now, the new owner of that mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because she was on the tour that night and she thought it was hysterical. Her dad's getting yelled at. She was all about it. So we moved on. It's an air conditioning. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I used to work in upper management for Walmart, and you guys like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving. You've scarred me for life. I'm not working on Thanksgiving ever again. The next day was the 28th. I got a hold of my partner that I had at the time, and I told him what happened with the new neighbor, and he laughed at me just like my daughter did. He said, dude, you're only allowed to go down halfway. It's residential past that. Reroute your group. Well, guess what? It's Black Friday, and I'm sold out again, and I don't have a story ready for the rest of my route. So what I told my team is, I've never had anything happen over there, and I'm into vampires, not pirates. Obviously, we're talking about pirates next. And somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we're going to be talking about or investigating. The famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. I was like, oh shit, maybe we'll get something. We go open around the corner, somebody else with a spirit box heard the number 300. I don't know what that meant, so I wrote it down. Turns out we were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. The exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial.
I got anniversary earlier.
You did, but it was right around Isaac. So we're long past that. That was 2020. So we're in 2024. So that was 4 years ago. So with that said, I was quite pissed off about the whole thing. I normally get the, hey, that's pretty cool. Like, you got the 300th anniversary and whatever else. The problem for me is I actually have a master's degree in creative writing. Whenever I'm writing anything or investigating anything or researching anything, facts and data. I'm sure you guys already picked up on that part about me. Pirate stories come from pirate lore, which were written 100 years after the golden age of piracy, the days of Blackbeard. That's a problem. That means you have to read more books to validate what you've already read, going back and forth. I've read more books on pirates than I ever wanted to in my entire life. I've watched more documentaries. I even play video games with pirate stories in them, so I get a different version of the story. So again, I do a lot of research on pirates. Everything we're about to discuss came from a minimum of 2 resources for everything that comes out of my mouth. That's the way I kind of looked at it when I was taking all my notes and piecing it all together to see what we were going to be able to find. So just kind of keep that in mind. We'll also get things from Dr. Ladd while we're over there as well. With Anne Bonny, it is a 50-50 roll of the dice if she'll be there or not. I'll explain why once we get there, but that's why I also like the Dr. Ladd bleed over. So kind of keep that as we are going around the corner. Anything else that was being heard, you guys were very open about what you were hearing and seeing with your devices as we were here.
I heard something's on fire. I couldn't make out the first word.
Okay. But this alley was named Philadelphia Alley to get away from Dueler's Alley because Philadelphia helped us out of one of our many, many fires.
Oh.
So that's not surprising here either. See how it's almost a curse to kind of know all of the little tidbits of history around town?
I heard if you ask about, and then it sounded like PJs, but I wasn't sure what he said next.
I just got Sake and Access, so, and I just got any more.
There was drugs, and then you heard something about a doctor. What was the doctor phrase?
Oh, it was complimentary doctors.
Okay. Any letters or words we need to know about? RX at all? RI? Nothing? You're fired.
I heard Spanish, gracias.
Well, we're about to go start talking about the Caribbean islands, so that's the common thing that we get over there too.
Oh.
All right. Anything crazy on the cam over there, boss? Nothing. Although his whistling is still mind-boggling. You guys have never been here before? You ever been to this alley before?
I ain't never been to this state.
And I heard small whistles coming from probably just behind the car.
Well, I'm more honestly the thud pieces that you heard, because again, those could have been gunshots, and that is something I don't have on an audio piece. I do have whistles that I can't debunk, but I don't have any
I
like
just heard
gunshot.
you people are educated.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I just put in the camera. Someone was standing next to John.
Yeah, if you put it up there.
Someone.
Someone was standing next to
Oh,
Josh.
it's not focusing. There's
Yeah,
somebody
and
there.
now it's not
Camera's tend to not
focusing.
focus when there's
Wow.
certain spirits there.
Or it could just be because of the light.
right.
But whatever he was standing like right
There's also
here.
somebody walking down there.
Yeah, pretty far down.
I don't know where they came from.
I don't either. I think that's the same couple.
Oh, okay.
Couple that was walking through before. Yeah.
So,
They're all dead. Like that's nothing new. All right, we ready to learn about rated R pirates?
Yeah.
Nobody got my dad joke? That means I have to take it one step further. You guys ready? If the letter R is not a pirate's favorite letter, then what is it? Must be the C. Aha. You guys can stop your cameras if you want to. We're going up and around the corner.
why are you laughing?
I don't know. I've just got this overwhelming sense of like whimsy.
What's that?
Like fun, carefree joy type of thing.
You should probably talk. Oh, there's a root there. That was the pole.
You look like you got something for me. You look like you got something for me. Normally when you give me that stare down.
Because I'm trying to decide if there's enough of a pause. But I asked if you were going to tell me about the child, and I heard protection. Yeah. But it was like immediately after I stopped. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't hear it, but I heard it like over and over. Like I kept getting right.
Mom.
There are SD cards in both of those, and sometimes when you guys like accidentally hit a button, it'll go back to like a previous tour's
Oh,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anything coming out of there, Caleb? No.
I've got a 0.2. So like nothing.
Dublin?
Yeah.
Because I heard you ask like the same question again.
Yeah.
You
I did
think
hear. It was very
considering-
faint though.
Considering
Like,
she's Irish, do you think that could have just been her accent and she was saying doubloon? Okay.
But you also heard Aaron, which I think of Aaron Gobron. Sure. That's
Yeah.
where my wheels were spinning.
Yeah, and I heard. Yeah.
I was asking her what her, how she liked being a pirate, and I had Michael Jackson's "Bad" come through.
This is kind of out of the park, but when I said 39 earlier,
Yeah.
look where I'm standing. 39. 40.
You want to know what's weird?
39.
So we actually, there's a cat that wanders around. He belongs, well, she, now that I know what gender she is, she belongs to the church on the other side. So she comes over here all the time. And at first I named her Jack, just because of the tale that I tell. And Jack was very friendly, coming over and all of this, that, and the other. I later found like she was pregnant. So I changed her name to Jackie. So when I figured that out, she would come over here and we started asking her like, hey, can you go sit on a number that is relevant to the story? We had the number. So the dates of the trial. So we had 11, 28, and 20, almost in that exact order. There was one number in between, so that was the date of her trial. And then there was something about the dates of Anne Bonny's alleged death date. So April 22nd, 1784. Or I'm sorry, 1782. So we had things relevant to that date as well. So, but Jackie, because a lot of people look at these numbers, and that's just what reminded me of it. Is I haven't seen Jackie in quite a few weeks. Like, where the hell is Jackie been? The weather's beautiful out here. You know, she should have been out longer on. But I don't know what this 39 would mean for you. So we'll see if there's anything that will pop up. Do we have any EMF showing up over here?
I don't know about you, but I had to come around that side because every time I get this close, I would get church-related
Me
stuff.
too. I would too. I had.
Sounds
Yeah.
like you got a.
Yeah.
Anything else coming out of that thing?
Your finger.
I just heard Christian. So.
Yeah.
I mean, it couldn't be related to us before Christian.
No, it's because of the church. Because I was just talking about I would get that
Yeah,
side
the
of
giant
it.
steeple. Look up through the trees.
Wow.
It's the crooked one they were talking about last night.
Yeah, it just leans to the left. It's the-
I don't know if it's like related to anything, but over there, just,
Creeping you out a little bit?
no, it's like drawing me in or something. Like, I keep hearing stars.
It
I
just
like,
said you. I what?
One day last week, I want to say we had like 50.
I pass through the doors. I get around them, they don't like me. So I stay away from them because I have said Josh, but he said, yeah, so I got a ring.
Manual device. And they have like electronics to verify.
Abstain.
Trying to like see where that leak could fall in, unless that was when she was. What do you got now?
I know this is really big, and you told me to like stay away from like this area because of all the leaves. But like something keeps popping up like next to the tree. Like I know it's not the tree because it just the two
so
eyes in the
do you
nose
have it
thing.
recording
Yeah,
during those times?
yeah.
I just got staying alive.
I'm staying
So
alive,
you watch the
staying
SLS.
alive.
So as long as you have the recording,
Yeah, it's recording, so.
then I'll be able to either prove it or debunk it, and I'm watching the video.
Because I'm.
You know about pirates.
It's the leaves, but.
The larger ones, the vast is still. Let me see the word. You just have BASD. No, just it's pretty wide. So like a vast amount of ghost hunters for me in like 20. That's a vast amount.
I got you, and then I was like, these fours broke down. So,
Yeah, for a while. So
so I was talking about that. So, why she also got super flirty afterwards. Because
She was that way anyway.
I know, but I've never met
Welcome
a
to
woman
women.
with a newborn baby who get flirty. So
Welcome to
She was
women.
looking to piss off Jack. She wasn't truly flirting.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of let's make
Making him
jealous.
jealous.
oh, it just told me to wait.
This is second.
Told me to wait. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait over here.
Definitely relevant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got that. That was weird.
Are you still waiting?
It told me radiation, so I think that one's random.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. What do you want to tell me? Tell me. I'm waiting.
Bye bye.
Jack is good.
Okay.
Because remember John Calico Jack.
That's it. Yep.
But the letter H is relevant. Do we have S's going on there? No SH? She got one H by itself. Just
I
the letter.
literally just got letter H. So,
I'm hoping it's going to show up somewhere on that YouTube. Brandy, you got anything?
got anything? Nope.
Okay, might be time to start wrapping things up.
Yeah.
I like what's going on here, but it's too like all over the map right now to really determine what's actually happening. On the right hand side, only button there.
I just really keep picking
There you
things
go.
up from the church.
Yeah.
A lot, but I keep picking up.
I got Jack and then I got the letter H.
You got Jack?
I got Jack and then I got the
That's
letter H.
hilarious because I was asking her what.
What man stuck out
Yes,
to you? I
what
heard
who
you.
her
I heard
favorite
that
man
and
was
laughed
she
and then
flirted with.
Yeah, her and Jack were like besties.
Yeah.
Bestie boo.
don't ever say that again. Oh
And
my
I just heard
lord.
selected number one overall.
All right, guys, bring it on in.
Oh, the wall is wet there. I've been sitting off and on the wall.
You
Boat.
can sit there.
Yeah, it was
My
wet.
folks
Right.
sit there all the time.
I got boat. She was on a boat.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh.
surprised. We get a lot of
That's
like
wet.
It's wet moss. I don't like that.
Find like a.
But
ghost hunting. You're worried about some moss on the ground?
yes. I'm not worried about any of these ghosts.
Do you have the Tylenol?
When I asked
Yes,
what
I
was
do.
the scariest part about being tired, I heard my heart.
Fair.
And then I need my water.
Pieces you guys are picking up on. The church stuff doesn't surprise me.
This is my water
I'm
break.
actually, do you guys want to
beach?
know what the story is with the
Where are all the Tylenol?
So, I don't always cover this story. I used to all the time when I first started doing this, but every ghost tour tells it because it's kind of their big finale. So every ghost tour pretty much ends across the street over at St. Philip's Church. You guys probably ended or even stopped over there at one point. And you guys heard those phrases of "Where's my baby?" and then you heard the word "baby" by itself. So the reason why all the ghost tours go over there is because there's a sign right inside the church, like the cemetery right there. It says "There's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost." The reason why is because there was a young lady by the name of Sue Howard Hardy, SHH, that you're looking for on your end, who died 6 days after her stillborn child. Yeah, I think it's 6
Yeah, I
days.
think that's
Now, the reason why it's significant is because 99 years later, in 1987, a photographer in town was taking pictures of all of our cemeteries and captures a full apparition in one of his photographs. So for guys like me that study this and look up like, hey, top 100 best this or best that, as far as apparitions, EVPs, stuff like that, this picture will show up in the top 100. I think I've seen it. So with that said, the picture is cursed, which is why I don't always show it, because it's cursed to females.
Good lord. We all literally saw it yesterday.
You saw it, but did you handle it?
No.
Okay. Females that handle this picture, even in a digital format, coming from a tablet, phone, whatever, it is said that you'll get the same symptoms that what we talked about at the beginning. So the headache, the nausea, the dizziness. Pregnant females are not going to have a good pregnancy based off of the gist of the story of the child being stillborn. I'm not going to be the guy where somebody had a great vacation and 9 months later I cursed their family, which is why I don't always talk about this story, but we did get a lot of those weird instances with the letter H coming up by itself, and then of course with the where'd my baby go and the word baby showing up. I don't know if you guys had the word, even like if somebody has their toll-free number of 1888 on there, that is the exact year that she died, 1888. So we've had that.
I did get a few phone numbers that
Right.
were like, yeah.
So I'm going to show you the photograph, and I'll kind of go around the room real quick. And please just don't touch the tablet. That's the only thing I'll ask. It has to be your female. So where is that? I haven't told that story in a while. There we go.
They're writer and outsider, just know.
Writer?
Writer and outsider.
like R-I-D-E-R?
R-I-D-E-R.
Okay.
Here's your photograph. You guys all saw this last night. So there's your apparition.
Oh,
Looking
yeah.
at the back of
Yeah.
a woman.
Yep, same one from yesterday.
Here's the full picture, and then you zoom in, and you can see the woman kneeled at her own grave with the baby basket next to her. If you zoom in even closer, like from a computer screen, you could see the weaving on the basket, like the little shadows of it. Like it's pretty detailed. Now, I will tell you, is it 20? I forget what year it was, but it was almost the exact date of when this was taken, right near, her death date. There was another picture captured, but it's not this clear. It's almost like a very weird, wispy style of a picture. I did find that, but again, when I was doing this story for blog and podcast purposes, it was a matter of like, oh wow, I guess there was another one. But again, I don't always put this out there just because of what it actually is. So it's kind of a creepy story. I'll leave this out because I'm going to need it. By the way, speaking of headache, nausea, dizziness, this is the location of why I give that heated warning at the top of the night. Let me explain why. A couple years ago, month of September, probably the same temperature that we have now, nice, easygoing temperature. I take my group to the back like I always do to stay out of the way of the other large groups that we noticed earlier. And the kid next to me, I'm going to call him like 21, 22 years old, he's fainting. Like he's going down like a wet noodle, like fast. I have to pick him up by his armpit so he doesn't hit his head on the ground. So his boyfriend picked him up from the other side. We brought him over to the wall, got him some water. He's feeling better. This used to be the last stop. I told you I changed this up a little bit. So I told the story of Anne Bonny and spread everybody out. Go have fun on the last hurrah. The two guys pulled me aside and said, Nick, we have to tell you, we are two transgender males. I have two females dressed like males, just like Anne and Mary in the story on the tour. So it made sense, but it was still unexplainable. Psychics and mediums that I get on this tour, like if they're practicing and they don't tell me and I accidentally give them a headphone spirit box, they're going to pass out every time because I'm interrupting what they're already able to get. So I try not to give, that's why I have you guys try to show up early so I kind of get a gist of who I have in front of me. But you guys are getting the point. Like this is a real thing for me that wasn't a scare tactic. Again, it was first aid bag in my, obviously in my other bag, but I also went to CPR class the first time I had a psychic pass out on me. I'm like, oh shit, what the hell did I start here? So it was like, I was already ghost hunting for a while, but my psychic, like, I work with him one-on-one, so I kind of knew how he was going to be able to affect things. Let's cover the answers for Anne Bonny real quick, and then I'll explain the last stop that we're going to. Yes, we're doing the Estes method, so if you're not familiar with that, anybody not familiar with that? Okay, so you two are going to be blindfolded. I'm going to be sitting you two down on a bench, and you're going to have your spirit boxes on, and I'm going to talk to you as if you're the ghost, and you're not going to know the history of the location. Okay, so that's how that piece is going to go. So, Lisa, you're going to have a part in this too. You're going to be wearing a virtual reality headset, and it's going to show you AI images based off of EMF. So anytime there's an EMF fluctuation, my phone that'll be in there will read the EMF and translate that into an image. So hopefully the two of what this is going to look like is going to be conversational. So it look like I'm talking to a ghost through one, obviously both of you. But then with your piece, it's hopefully going to be complementary to what is going on as far as what's being said. You will describe what you see in front of you, like during the session, but we'll all be able to see those images once we're done. It'll also be in your full report tomorrow morning. Now, I will tell you just out of, statistics, perspective. So what Lisa's going to be going through is about 45% accurate to the space. So So I've been doing this experiment with the imagery piece for about 9 or 10 months now, and about half of them are relevant to the ghost we're going to be hopefully making contact with. The two of you, it's about a 1 out of 3 chance that we're going to have a good session. I hate to put that in a bad light, but it is what it is. The images, I hate to say, are almost just as exciting as watching the Estes method session unfold. So the 3 of you will sit on a bench, and I will teach the other 4 people the history. So that way when we come back, we get to watch it unfold. So kind of keep that in mind. This is a lot of fun. It can work out either way. It can either be super silly. You guys could be answering questions that you don't know what you're answering in a silly manner, and nothing happens at all. Or this can turn into a full-blown conversation. I've seen it go either way. And we've also had images where we get 0 images for the night, just depending on how our ghost is feeling, or we've gotten all the way up to 12. So we never know. I only keep you guys under for 10 minutes, so kind of keep that in perspective. That would be at least 1 image per minute, every 45 seconds or so. So it could be you sit there for 9 minutes and don't get anything. I have no idea. It changes every single day. So let's cover the Anne Bonny questions. I'm excited that we actually had the feeling that her hair color was red, for sure. The 3.9 EMF is actually exciting at this location. I know that might seem low to you guys, but you got to know the space. He actually had a 3.9, by the way, in the 39 parking space. So that's where the 39 was actually, it's all somewhat pieces together. I still don't know what the hell the number 39 means, but why are we getting it so many times? So you guys are getting the point on that one.
Legacy certain pocket.
I get like months or weeks. Like 39 like months or weeks. Months or weeks.
How long is a pregnancy?
40 weeks.
On average.
Yeah.
I like it.
I had both of them at 39, so it could be anywhere
Yeah.
between 36 and 40.
I like it. I mean, I can't prove it, but I like where we're
That's
going.
also the same statistics they teach us in our health classes. It's just about 36 to 40 weeks ish. Most give birth around 39.
Too. I just didn't think anything of it, but I did.
Just now.
I haven't gotten them.
Until just now, basically, until we started talking
Yes.
about the number 39. See, this is, I'll be honest with you. Like, I've had some groups, guys, where I'm like, guys, you're really stretching things, or like, guys, we're just having a light night. Like, we're having an okay night as far as the amount of activity and things that I see, and that's just based off of obvious perspective of what I'm getting right now. But I like when we can start to smallly piece things together where it actually makes sense. And I'm usually the first guy to say, I don't know what 39 means, and then you say maybe weeks. We're talking about pregnancy stuff over here, and that's where I'm piecing together, like, how long is actually.
And then I get toddler too when I'm standing over here. I get like toddler for some reason out of here. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
I don't either, because
I just heard baby.
we often,
Collector.
if I get a psychic or a medium on the tour, they always see the same soldier over here, same description of what they're wearing. It's always blue pants, white shirt. And if you know anything about the Civil War, which this did serve the Civil War, that's the wrong outfit. They should be in gray pants.
Yeah.
So again, it's weird that they always see blue pants, white shirt, but this also served in the French and Indian War, which would be blue pants during those times. So again, I never know like what's going to happen, but most psychics and mediums, they always see the same damn guy over here. Very interesting. But this, honestly, guys, this is where I get excited, where you guys are like kicking ideas back off of me, and they start to make sense and they start to click, because this doesn't always happen. Like, I might see this like once out of every 3 months of tours that I do. Because again, I usually get, no offense, but a bunch of teenagers that want to come make a bunch of Sam and Colby bullshit out of this, and they want to jump around and like, oh my god, everything's a ghost, you know. But Avery takes up really fast that not everything is a ghost in there. She's debunking things. So anyway, let's go over the answers.
You know it's gonna spill over.
You know it's going to spill over. One of the few pictures of Anne Bonny you can find where she actually has a shirt on. The reason why is she used to bare her breast to show men that they were just shot by a woman and they're about to die by the hand of a woman. Told you, she was pretty badass.
And I got the
I absolutely love her outfit.
Now, you were the one that heard counties, is that correct? So she asked, where did Anne grow up? And she heard the word counties. The interesting thing about Ireland is it's set up in counties, not necessarily in cities.
By any chance, was she in one of the northern ones?
No, it was definitely
Okay.
south. She grew up in Cork County.
Okay.
So I am actually excited about the word counties. This is where the know your ghost kind of mentality comes from. You know, and a ghost like Anne Bonny is not going to say hi coming through a spirit box. It's a hello, you know, kind of mentality. Even coming from, it might be a joke from a DJ, but she gives the right point. We're not going to get a hi, and it came from Anne Bonny. But anyway, the names of her parents were William Cormac, Mary Brennan. So Mary is just it's not another subliminal trick. We just happen to have 2 in the story. So just kind of keep that in mind. And Mary Brennan was a servant for the Cormac family. If you wanted to guess how Dad met Mom, you'd be correct. So that's another 30-minute scandal we don't need to discuss because it doesn't really relate to where we are. I also like to show you what Calico Jack looked like, and we did get the name Jack on the digital word list, so I'm excited about that. We also got the word female on there as well. So we will often get reminded that Anne was a female, even though she dressed like a male. We get a lot of girls just want to have fun on spirit boxes and that kind of mentality. Back to Jack. Jack was named that because of the jackets that he wore. They came from British captains that he killed. His father was a tailor, which means textiles are very important to the Rackham family. Calico Jack translates to fancy jacket. That's where the name came from.
I heard the hat.
Nah, it definitely means fancy jacket. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. I do not expect the word Kingston to come through on our red spirit boxes, but maybe Lisa's and Josh's that they're using, because it does pick up more disembodied voices more so than the red ones. The word king would suffice at this location. It's kind of a what color is the big red barn mentality. Sometimes you have to grab with whatever you can. And by the way, when I first started using that spirit box, one of the best things we ever got out of it was like the third night we had it out here. I was just testing it, and again, it used to be the last stop. I'm packing things up. That team had a super light night, like almost nothing happened for them. And I took it away from him. He still had it running, and it said pirate. I mean, plain as day. And it wasn't like the Pittsburgh Pirates won the game kind of phonetic lexicon stuff. Again, guys, went to school for English, so when I hear a word by itself, I know it was meant to be said by itself. And
I heard alcohol.
I'm not surprised by that either. We actually had Alcoholics Anonymous show up or something a couple of nights ago. So
And
funny.
I've had like an alcoholic whimsy kind of thing. Like I couldn't stop smiling earlier, bopping around, like good old day.
I've had a feeling like in my stomach, like in the pit of my stomach.
Along the way, we're going to be going up about 2.5 blocks. Did you guys notice the giant QR codes on most of your devices? Those QR codes are that's my business card. So if you want all of my contact info, social media stuff, that does include TikTok, website, YouTube, all of the extras, that's how you get it. I don't do paper business cards because you guys throw them on the ground and basically litter up our beautiful city.
I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture
So
of that.
it's the easiest way to do that. If you're Android, all you got to do is hold your phone to it, and it'll put all of my info inside of your phone. If you're Apple, you have to hold out your camera, and a little yellow bar will show up for you to tap it on.
Copy.
Just gives you something to do for the 2.5 blocks that we're walking. Are you guys ready for this whole blindfold test? Am I past your bedtime, Lisa? I've seen that yawn. I'm like, all right, we're keeping her out late tonight. All right, let's go blind. Tree stuff on the ground. All right, so everybody's gonna kind of have their role when we get over there, just so everybody knows. So both cameras, I do want you guys to try to get good angles of them, because I'm not gonna repeat this history. So they're not gonna know the history until they watch the video or listen to the audio later on. So obviously keep your cameras focused on them. If I'm not getting the answers out of the two ladies being blindfolded, it could show up on the Ouija board or on your word generator. So it's okay just to give me the one word answer. You don't need to give me a full explanation like what you've been doing. Just like, oh, it said tree. Like, that's simple. And then we have gotten triple digit EMF here. So we've seen it go over 100 during this session. So if you get a number, just let me know above 2.5. Okay? So here's what to expect.
Well, I did get a 5.7 while we were walking back. I don't think that was it.
Actually, yeah, there's no electricity in here besides, unless you were really next to the lamppost.
I was next to my mom on the other side, so.
Yeah, definitely we're getting a 5.7 from the lamppost. So it's definitely having, like, sparking itself around a little bit. First time I came in here, this is a new space for last year. So here's how this goes. I only had 2 people because it was November. Super cold, everybody canceled. And I told the young lady, I don't know why everybody comes in here. I do now because of the Lavinia Fisher story. Yep. But at the same time, I told her, just tell me whatever you hear. She heard the year 1828 and the name Henry. And I was using the word list that night because, again, only 2 people. I make sure everything's well-rounded. I had the name Tim that showed up. Behind me is a bust of Henry Timrod. He was born in 1828. I shit you not. I can't make this stuff up. So I went, well, hot damn, there's my ghost. Here's how his story goes. It's very quick and short. He's a writer, which is why I was asking you specifically about writer or writer. But he's sick through most of his life. And being born in 1828, he can go fight in the Civil War in the 1860s. Goes out to the battlefield, his comrades realize he's too sick to fight. They sent him home, knowing he was a writer, and said, go be the voice of the war, man. Go tell people what's going on out here. Came home to Charleston, starts writing poetry about what's happening out on the battlefield. He became known as the Laureate of the Confederacy. It's a pretty prestigious title.
I think I've heard of that title.
And we still have it today, just so you know. So with that said, he's writing pretty well, and he has a son. The son's name is Willie. He's born on Christmas Eve, and he dies 9 months later. So it's pretty tragic for him and his wife, Katie, and their mourning. And in a nutshell, he's not writing as much. So he has another writer friend named Paul. That's where I got excited about the word Paul earlier. So Paul basically sees that he's not writing as much, and he says, go use my cottage. It's in Columbia. Get back on track. Leave your wife behind, Katie. It's to basically mourn with her parents. They were here visiting. So he goes out there, and that's where he wrote his last words. His last words were, "Beholder of brief mortality," which basically translates in modern English to "dear person with a short life." And then he coughed, and it landed on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. He died right there, age 38, not 39.
Accuracy.
So we're here because of that blood stain. They show it one day a year at the Charleston Library Society because it looks like a man writing at his desk. We call it the Blood Book. They only show it one day a year on Halloween, but you have to be a member to go see it. However, the internet's beautiful. I'm going to show you what the Blood Book looks like, and then we're going to hopefully go make contact with Henry. But Henry isn't always happy about me being here either. Here is your Blood Book. Beholder of brief mortality, cough, cough, death. There is your man writing at his desk. So, good creepy story for us to end with, yeah?
Yeah, spooky.
So, we started off with a football player, and we're going to end with a little bit of death. So, with that, I'm going to need a family member close to each person. The reason, well, except for Lisa, because she'll be able to hear me. But these two, you guys pick somebody out of you two, and then of course, in the event that they're talking too loud, I don't think we're going to have that issue. One of you is going to need to tap them on the shoulder. I don't touch anybody.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when we're done, I'll let you know, tap them on the knee. They'll know what those taps are because I'm about to go explain it to them. But again, just kind of keep that in mind. But Lisa will be able to hear me, no problem. So I can just say, peel that thing off your face and let her know how that thing actually works.
Yep.
All right, ready to go talk to a ghost?
I think they figured out the blindfolds. My mom's got it on her forehead.
My mom's smart.
She is very good.
Well, I heard giggling over here.
Figured them out.
Thank you. Let me see what you got. Nope.
No.
Nope.
That's not. And how do they come?
Come on, Mom.
It's a Batman mask.
Oh, so it was
Watch
the
this.
other way?
Nope. ARLEE, watch. So you take the thin part that was around the back of your head, and in the center is perforations.
It goes around your ears.
And it goes in your ears.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
You were close.
Very close.
It's a face mask, but
Yeah, it worked the other way.
Well, when I got these, when I started doing these experiments, first off, I didn't want to have anything to be like that if it's clean, but those I'm not that clean. So I wanted to make sure that a bunch of ladies in here wasn't going to ruin your hair. So I was being considerate. You guys jacked it all up, so kudos to you. Now she's going to wear it as a face mask like she's got her own. So here's what to expect out of this. So the two ladies being blindfolded, the two of you are going to tell me literally everything you hear, including the word yes or no. I might actually go if I'm wearing a black vest, I'm expecting one of you to say yes. You guys are going to be fine. If you're too loud, a family member that you came here with will tap you on the shoulder and means quiet down. Neighbors, try not to piss them off. When we're done, they will tap you on the knee. You need to take off your own gear. I will never touch you. You'll be able to hear me the entire time. So that's why you're not getting loose and all that. So when I only put you guys under for 10 minutes. The minute you put your blindfolds on, find your comfortable volume and leave it alone. Make sure you're not cheating and able to hear me. I'll ask a few silly questions just to make sure you can't hear me. And then that's when I basically start the timer. Don't ask me like, hey, are we good to go? Remember to talk. Tell us in real time what you're feeling. It should look like a conversation. On your end, you're going to see like a galaxy off in the distance. Again, have you ever been here before? It's going to look like somewhat like a 3D world, like a galaxy off in the distance, and then an image, just like a photograph. A Polaroid will show up from time to time. You're simply going to describe what you see in simple terms. I have two ladies over talking, so they're not going to be able to hear that you're talking. Hold on. So again, if you see three ladies on a bench with a tree, three ladies bench tree. If they're not saying much, then I might ask you probing questions. And I say, Lisa, what time period is that from? What are the ladies wearing? So forth and so on. You'll be able to hear me.
That's going crazy.
Alright, so ladies, blindfolds on, and then headphones on. I'm going to take your phone out of your purse.
Huh.
This one.
do you want me to be saying what's on here as it goes?
Just all you gotta do is read the word.
So no verbal. Run it for me.
You got it. Oh no, I want you to tell me what the word is. But just the word.
I just didn't know if you wanted me to say it or show you.
Just say it. And I don't
Now
take
it's
notes on this to make sure everyone's Charlie, go ahead and put your headphones on. Turn your volumes up so you guys can't hear me. Hands ready to go.
Cuffs. Cuff.
Not wearing glasses, that's good. Glasses are good in here. Got your glasses, we'll take them off.
keeps throwing
You'll
out
see some
different
weird
letters.
images from time to time.
Quick warning: VR is a bit disorienting,
It can
so
be.
you're probably gonna feel a bit disoriented at first.
If it looks a little blurry in there, there's a focus right here, the dial goes side to side.
Just random letters too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even making a word.
Okay. Ladies, can you hear me? What color is a blue banana? 26.
Let's go.
Okay, whatever. Turn your camera on. You're here. I need you to push through and tell us something about your occupation, please. Get some verification that you're here. If you're not Henry, on your first name. Henry, tell us something about your occupation.
Atrocities.
It's me.
Okay. Henry, can you tell us what your first name is, please? Let's get some verification. These are really vague. I know you know how this works. Be respectful. We're the only group in here tonight. Brandy?
I've seen what looks like a heart, a fireplace or
Okay.
something.
Yeah,
It's gone
exactly.
now.
Yeah,
And
they
it looks like a
disappear.
figure on
Okay.
the side, but I don't know.
Can you tell like the content of the figure or something?
I couldn't. It looked like black.
The original
robe,
Hebrew.
cloak kind of thing. It's gone now. And a cat on the.
What color is that?
It just kind of blended in.
Oh.
It's grayish. It's gone now, but I was kind of like, wait, I'm
Yep.
still trying to. I'm afraid this thing's gonna fall off my head.
Best way to hold that, I think you can. Think this just 1,000 times. Just hold it underneath.
You too?
Henry, you want to tell us your birthday or specific date?
Just
History.
imagine.
Henry, let's move forward. Let's start our conversation with the oral here. So the word atrocities, I don't know that we want to get into that just yet.
Fireplace.
Scared me.
With a white. And this looks not as blue looking as the other.
Lots of fireplaces.
The grace of God.
Henry, what sound did we just hear out of the church? Can you tell us what sound we just heard?
Well, that prior one was like stone.
How good you look.
Thanks, Henry. We've gotten the word bell spelled out on that music board before when I watched it. Henry, I'm not ignoring you.
The switch.
Yeah, it's all ladies sitting down here tonight. You're normally not super perceptive to that. But Henry,
Having conversation.
that's what I'm looking for. What do you want to talk about? We'll leave it in your hands.
Maybe revival.
Henry, you want to talk about the war? You did quite a bit of that in your poetry. It's a yes/no question, or you can specify by saying the word war. I don't know what this fireplace is. I don't.
So the first one was like made of stone, like this old, like, there's no fire in it.
The grace.
Henry, this is the second time we said the word grace. up. I hear it going off though.
No, just a bunch of letters.
Henry, I'd like for you to really focus on the green box tonight. We could use a lot of images. If that's the way you want to communicate back, if it's easier.
You know they always do.
They usually repeat things the way they hear them.
The 99?
99 what? I don't know what any of those numbers mean. None of that makes sense to me. Henry, can you specify? Henry, is anybody else here with you today? Is there another spirit here with you? That's a yes, no question. Henry, it's been about 5 minutes already, so we're running out of time. You haven't really given us a whole lot yet. Okay, is she okay? Looks like she's breathing a little heavier. Got like a little scowl on her face. Just want to make sure. Just seemed like she had a change of facial expression.
They're out of this.
Well, her breathing changed. That's all I was on asking. Henry, we'd really like to see a few more images.
Every step you take.
Signature.
Henry, what was your last signature?
Generations.
Can you tell us what your last signature was? You know it's celebrated here in Charleston.
Oh my gosh,
What do you got?
this weird looking thing, and it's almost like a double woman
Punishment?
white shirt and
It's where we
horns on
learn
top.
things.
It was something, and then it changed into that.
Henry, I'm asking about your last signature. It
But
is
eventually they'll fall short.
what was your last signature? Pretty much what made you famous here in Charleston, other than your actual work. Let me know if you get any slutty images in there.
What are we fighting
That
for?
was huge.
Yeah, she had no pants on, she had her leg back on.
Oh wow, a little dirty, huh?
Yes, it was. Like
$300,000.
things on there goes the
Henry, who was
That's
in the
how it
picture?
goes.
Oh,
Who was in the picture?
this thing's been glitching like that the whole time. Like there's someone behind them.
Still running out for the signature.
Script.
Henry.
To not make mistakes.
I don't feel like you made any
And
mistakes.
other matters.
Nisha, you're supposed to be over there.
With mom. No. I was just sitting over there
Anything concrete?
so I could try to pick up what they were getting.
You're supposed to be sitting over there.
I got it. I got it easy. There's somebody standing behind me. I didn't want to be there.
Okay, whatever.
I will not be going back over there again.
Henry, you need to push forth and at least give us something, just a quick little hello. Super quiet. This is creepy when it
Department
gets
of
this quiet, isn't it?
Justice.
Henry, do you want us to go home?
I've had nothing over here for the past couple minutes.
Henry Timrod, would you like us to go home? You know the code word. Dr. Ladd, if you're here, you know your code word just to let us know that you're here.
Just got tapped on the back of the head.
You have anything on your screen?
No.
Just got physically tapped.
Paradise.
Code word.
It's been wigging out behind them though, like there's someone standing there.
It was real love.
Are you referring to the picture that Lisa saw? Some lust going on, huh?
I don't know. It's just this almost like a masculine company things for like her for
Serious, huh?
no pants on, just white. Sleeveless top.
Camera going once, going twice. Alright, family members, let's tap them on the leg.
Sure.
Let's get them tapped out. Lisa, go ahead and peel that off your head. Alright. Good ladies, don't get up. This can be disorienting. So, based on like, what we just heard out of, three of you coming up, what was coming up, I don't feel like we had any relevance to who we were trying to make contact with whatsoever. There was some vague references of things that may have been going on, like serendipitously with the word list, but nothing where I'm like, okay, we definitely have this ghost here. And he can be like that. Like, there's some nights where he doesn't like the fact that there's women sitting. So again, I play around with the genders that are going to sit there in your chair and see how this is going to go. But let me show you the images that Lisa saw, so everybody can kind of get a
So
gist
they
of that.
are they on there?
I don't know that I would call your first one a fireplace as I would a headstone inside of a graveyard.
Maybe. I can see. Yeah, I couldn't like.
Definitely.
I was trying to
keep
focus
that
at the
attuned.
time.
I mean, with the lighting on, I can
I
see
could
like from a creative perspective, that could be a light on the inside of a hallway.
So very interesting
Pine.
piece
Yeah, I
on that
wasn't
one.
sure. Is there a pine tree around here?
I will tell you where the gentleman is where he's buried is in Colombia, and he's in a sarcophagus above ground. So he's not in a tomb either. But I do find it interesting that there is like a stone wall around this whole scenario as well. So again, just an interesting piece.
Yeah, I was still trying to adjust it, and then I was like, wait, was that a?
That's definitely a fireplace. So obviously something a little bit more modern. Definitely not from the
that's what I said.
1860s that we were, hopefully you guys don't know the era or the story, which you won't until you get the videos back, by the way. I don't repeat the history for you. I'm a jerk like that.
Now.
I'm sorry, you. Next one.
Oh.
Yeah.
You. It was. I said it was evil,
Yeah, she's a little,
and she had her leg up.
Oh, yeah.
And
little
was
devilish.
wearing a white shirt.
So-
And her crotch is blurred.
Yeah.
You notice that?
Well, it's also chopped off to not get any dirtier.
Yeah. That's what I saw. I was like, oh.
So a little on the dirtier side. I'm not going to find that relevant, especially just sitting in a field of flowers. No, nonetheless. I mean, that isn't creepy. I don't know what is.
And the silence
see
between
that.
all
It was
three of
just
you
more
guys was
focused
crazy.
on what I was.
Y'all went like
oh,
5,
devilish.
maybe 8 minutes without saying.
Did you see this one?
No.
Okay, so that must have been
She
showing
said
up.
that one changed
Maybe that
immediately to the
showed up.
girl. So
Maybe that showed up.
This is the last one that came up.
As
So it
I
may
was
have
taking
coming
it
in
off.
Right. So
'Cause I
almost
felt
looks like
like
it's just
something
like a giant hall of some sort.
so weird ceiling
So I
decoration.
don't even find any of our, maybe the tomb style, that first image. And what's fun about this for me is I do run all of these images through Google Lens just to kind of get a different insight. Like, what does Google see that I'm not seeing? So sometimes it'll give me insight onto, like, if there's a weapon in there, like a gun or a sword or something like that. It gives me a time period, the name of the sword, something. You guys get the point. But I do use Google Lens a lot with this. So the whole, I guess the whole situation, like what we just went through, I'm going to call it very unsuccessful. So, I mean, I'm sure you guys appreciate my honesty of like, hey, nothing just happened. So our ghost
I was
is,
not getting much.
yeah, we noticed.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys are all
Yeah.
quiet. I'm like, what is
Yeah,
happening
it's
right now?
creepier than when you said the thing in the creepy
Yeah, you
praise
did say
voice.
so you actually have the one that's recording. So I need you to, like, you know where your volume button is, obviously, right?
Yeah.
There's a button next to your volume. Click it in the opposite direction so it stops the recording and shuts your machine down. So we know that the last 10 to 12 minutes was from this session, in case you guys find things in there that obviously you didn't. So how are we feeling, by the way? Are we okay? Okay, because this can be disorienting. I've had people hyperventilate. I've had 1 or 2 seizures happen with this. Like, it can be like a little much. So how was your first VR experience? It's weird, isn't it? It's a weird feeling to be in
I'm
it.
still like on that.
What's that?
Your ear normally
It
switches your
almost
eyes.
like
No.
out, yeah.
Cool.
I'm like, oh
the
my
entire
God,
like
I wanna
outside of your
see
ear
that.
is like turned purple.
Awesome.
Look.
Super great.
Yeah.
All I need.
I'm gonna stop
So
recording.
yeah, let's get